So if you're tired of being the skinny guy around campus with no muscle like I was, then follow these 5 steps and I promise you, you'll get jacked. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am going to teach you how to bulk, put on size, and muscle high school edition. Now the reason why I say it high school edition, because shout out to my sub Bubba who requested this video, but it's funny because he requested this video and he said he was 16-year-old skinny kid trying to put on muscle and size. And it reminds me of me when I was 16. Actually, I started working out when I was 14 because I was in the same boat. I was 14 years old. I was about 5'11", and I think I weighed 135 pounds, 140 pounds. I got a gym membership somewhere in there when I was about a sophomore. And by the time I graduated, I was about 185. So in that time frame, I put on 40 pounds. Now, it wasn't 40 pounds of fluff at all. It was about 40 pounds of muscle. Everybody thought I was on steroids. So I'm going to give you the 4 techniques that I use to bulk up, put on size, and gain muscle. A lot of my students this was the first week of school. A lot of them asked me, hey, I'm trying to gain weight, what should I do? So this is basically going to be the high school version of how to bulk up. Now, obviously, if you're out of high school and you're a grown man, you could do this too. But this is strictly for high schoolers. First thing you got to do in order to gain weight, you got to figure out, and you've probably heard me say this before in videos, you got to figure out where you're at, okay? So in order to do that, since you are 16 or 14 or 15, whatever it is, it's kind of hard to track it. You can't really use the traditional macro counter online. The reason why I say that is because your metabolism is on crack when you're young, okay? Also, usually those macro calculators don't go, at least the ones I saw, younger than like 18. Even when you use those, they aren't that accurate though. So the easiest way to figure out where you're at and how much calories you're burning, because however much calories you're burning, that's the name of the game. You got to put more calories in than you put out, and then you put on size. So, first thing you got to do is you got to figure out where you're at. Your height, your weight, all that doesn't really play into it. What you got to do is you got to first get the app MyFitnessPal. What are you going to do with that? What you're going to do with that app is on Sunday morning, okay, or whenever you want to start it, but you got to do it for a week. I recommend 2 weeks because then you can get a more accurate reading. What you're going to do is you're going to track everything you eat for a whole week. What you got to do, the first thing though, is you got to weigh yourself. Day 1, wake up, weigh yourself. For the next 7 days, track everything you eat. And it's very easy to track in the app. All you do is you download the app. It's free. You don't have to get the premium version. Make sure you scan everything you put in. If you have McDonald's for lunch, you could go in and type in McDonald's, put in a double, Big Mac, whatever it is, and you could add that. Now, if you're eating like cafeteria food, then maybe try and guess what it is. But if there's a barcode on what you're eating, all you got to do is pull out your phone and scan it, and we'll give you all the nutrition. You know, it doesn't matter what pops up, but all you have to do is track everything you eat for a week. Now, at the end of that week, if you weigh the exact same thing or same weight as you did a week at the beginning of the week, then you know the amount of calories you consumed that week will always keep you at that weight. So say, for instance, you weighed 140 pounds. You start this on Sunday. You eat, you track everything, and then at the end of the next Sunday, when you wake up in the morning, you weigh yourself and you still weigh the exact same, and say you averaged about 15 to 2,000 calories a day, then that is how much calories you need to maintain 140. Okay? That's step number 1. Is you got to track everything and figure out where you're at. So get MyFitnessPal and start scanning everything you eat and entering everything you eat for a week. The reason why I say 2 is because you can kind of get a better estimate of what your calories are. All right, once you track your calories for a week and you know what your starting point is, the next thing, step number 2, you probably know this, you got to eat. And you got to eat a lot. So we'll take the example I used for the MyFitnessPal. So say to maintain your current weight, you have to eat 1,500 or 2,000 calories a day. In order to gain weight, you got to up those calories to 500 more calories a day. So if you were at 2,000 to maintain 140, you got to up it to 500. You can do 1,000, but I would start off small. The reason why is because your appetite's probably not there yet. Now, in that 500 calories, what I would recommend is obviously carbs and protein. Fat, you can get up there a little bit quicker, but if you're trying to build muscle, you want to put on some protein. Now, where do you get the calories? Obviously, if you're in high school, if you're 14 or 15, you probably don't have a job. It's going to be hard to ask your parents to start spending all this money on food. What I did when I was in high school, protein shakes, they were a little bit cheaper, and my protein shakes were not the healthiest. I'd put ice cream, I'd put peanut butter, I'd put Snickers in there. I'd do whatever I can just to put calories in my body, because at the time I was burning them like crazy. So find the cheap ways. I literally, when I was in high school, I would carry a Snickers bar with me. What changed the game when I put on size, though, is I went from pretty much waking up, not eating breakfast, which most high school kids do. I didn't eat breakfast, and then I really didn't eat until lunch, and my lunch was a bag of Doritos, a small pizza, and then a Powerade. I would have eaten nothing. That would be my lunch, and then I'd eat something when I got home. So I only ate 2 meals a day, and I wasn't consuming enough. What changed the game for me is I'd wake up and have a protein shake before I went to school. This channel is all about not being average. You want to stand out and not do what the average high schooler does. Eat breakfast. All my students, they skip breakfast. Sometimes they have lunch, and then they snack on garbage all day, and then they eat dinner. That's what the average high schooler eat, but we're not average. So eat breakfast. What I would do in between that, I'd snack on like a Snickers. Obviously, it's not the healthiest choice. I know that. But I was just trying to put on size. And one Snickers had a pretty good amount of calories, and it had some protein. Obviously, it's not the ideal healthy choice, but it worked. If you could afford protein bars, then do that. So I'd have a snack, which was a Snickers bar, and then I'd eat my traditional lunch, chips, pizza, whatever. And then when I came home from school, I made sure I had a big dinner, whatever my mom was making. I'd always try to have 2 plates of whatever it was. And then I'd usually have a protein shake before I went to bed. That right there will put size on you, because that's how I started growing. Because this is the cool thing about being in high school and being fresh and never doing this before. Whatever you do, if you consume more calories, if you start lifting weights, you're going to see size and you're going to see growth because your body's not used to it. Someone who's like me, who has been doing this for 16 plus, 15 plus years, it's really hard for me to see substantial growth because I've been doing it for so long and my body's used to it. But as a high schooler, when you're going through those growing pains and growing regardless, you add in the nutrition side, you're going to see growth. So step number 2, you got to eat a lot and you got to eat frequently, at least 5 meals a day. All right, step number 3, what we're getting into is you got to lift. You got to get in the gym. It's probably plain and simple. Everybody knows you got to eat and you got to get in the gym. Now what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. If you start putting on size and your body starts developing some muscle, you're going to burn more calories. Well, if you burn more calories, what usually happens is you start working out, you start eating the same that you were eating, but you start putting on muscle, which means you're burning more calories, but you're eating the same amount. You're not going to gain any weight because now you're burning more calories because you have more muscles. In order to combat that, what you have to do is you got to eat more. Now, it's a little bit easier when you start working out, because when you start working out, obviously you'll be hungry. You don't have to do too much cardio unless you're in a sport. Like when I played football, I was running and doing sprints all the time, so I was burning calories like crazy, which meant I had to eat a lot more. And again, when I was in high school, I was not tracking macros. I was not counting my calories or anything. My main thing is I just started eating, okay? Now, the MyFitnessPal will help you track it so you can get a baseline. But after that, I would just recommend eat as frequently as you can and get in the gym at least 5 days a week. And when you get in the gym, do all your body parts. Have a leg day and destroy your legs, shoulder day, chest day, back day, arm day to start off, or you can follow along with the program I'm currently doing, which is a 6-day split. If you get in the gym 6 days a week as a high school student, you've never worked out before, and you're following the program that I'm doing right now, and you're eating a lot, you are going to get jacked, okay? And the reason why I say that is because you're doing an advanced program, and you're eating, and you're doing the first 3 steps that will make you gain weight. So step number 1, figure out where you're at. Step number 2, you got to eat a lot. Step number 3, very simple. You obviously got to get yourself in the gym. And step number 4, this is where most high schoolers screw up. You got to get your sleep. You got to get your rest. You don't grow your muscles when you're tearing them in the gym. When you're working out in the gym, you're tearing your muscles, you're breaking them down. Where you grow your muscles is when you sleep. Now, high schoolers usually struggle with this. The reason why is because they spend their late night, okay, and I know this because I have 35 students in my class. And I ask them what time they go to bed, and they're usually like, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they wake up at 7 o'clock. That's only 5 hours of sleep. You need sleep as a teenager, especially if you're destroying your body in the gym. So turn off the TikTok, get off the social media, get your butt to bed at the same time every single night. And guys, I know this doesn't sound exciting, okay? And this is why if you're doing these 4 steps, you're not going to be the average high school student, because the average high school student will not have the discipline to actually follow through on this. But if you don't want to be average and you want to stand out and you want to have a nice physique and be the best in your sport and gain weight and just do things that the average high schooler is not doing, then keep doing this. If not, turn off the channel. So you got to get sleep. Go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. Do that all for 7 days a week. And as a high schooler, you may realize you may need like 9 hours of sleep. You got to figure out where you feel the most rested. But in order, like I said, if you're destroying yourself in the gym, you got to make sure you're eating and fueling yourself to repair your muscles, and at the same time getting sleep. Those are the 4 steps that if you do those, I promise you as a high schooler, you will put on size. I'm going to throw in step number 5 though. Number 5 is crucial. Number 5, the average person won't follow through on their goal of gaining weight or getting in shape. And the reason why is because number 5 is probably the most important. You got to be patient. When it comes to working out, I remember this. When I first started working out, I get in the gym, I do some curls, okay? When I started working out, I think my arms were like 12s, I think they were that big, right? That big. All I wanted was big arms and big shoulders. I literally have this Captain America doll. Actually, my daughter was playing with it. Captain America action figure that I wanted to look at when I got bigger, like as a superhero. I'd go to the gym once, I'd do arms like crazy. I'd go home and I'd be flexing in the mirror. I'd wake up the next day and they looked the exact same. I'd go back to the gym, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I first started out. So that's why I drop all these videos, because I'm trying to help you guys. And I realized that a lot of high schoolers are starting to sub to the channel, and I like that because fitness changed my whole mindset and my life when I was 14 years old. So I'm just trying to give back. So you got to be patient. You really got to ask yourself, are you in this for the long haul? I've been working out since I was 14, and I am currently 32 years old. I plan on doing this until the day I die. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the process. That's what you got to ask yourself. Are you willing to track your stuff for a week, start eating a lot more, start working out a lot more, get into bed earlier than most of your friends, and in return, you got to have patience. But if you do all those things, then I promise you, come senior year or junior year or whatever it is, you're not going to look like the average junior or the average senior. But it takes time. So you need to ask yourself, are you in this for the long haul? Or are you just trying to get buff or see a difference in 30 days? If that's the case, I would say it's not going to work. It's not for you. With these 5 steps, I promise you, you will gain weight, size, and increase your muscle. So if you're tired of being the skinny guy around campus with no muscle like I was, then follow these 5 steps, and I promise you, you'll get jacked. All right, so that pretty much wraps up the video. I hope this helped for all those people that are trying to put on size. I know there's a lot of you guys that follow the channel and are trying to put on size. I hope this helped. Comment below if it did. Comment below if you have any questions. I'm doing my best at getting back on all the comments. Guys, I appreciate all of you guys who are commenting, who are subscribing, who are liking the channel. All I'm trying to do, right, is not be the average dad, the average sped teacher, the average content creator, the average teacher, whatever it is. All my roles, I just don't want to be average at them. This is just mindset that I had. I started putting out some content, and I'm getting some really positive feedback. So I appreciate all of you guys who have subbed, liked. We're slowly growing. We got a couple videos that are breaking 1,000. We got one up to like 16,000. So I'm just gonna keep putting out content. And like I said, this video was requested by one of my subs, Bubba. Okay, so if you're out there and you have certain questions, don't feel scared to comment or say, hey, can you make a video on that? That's really what this is about. I love making the content. I have a lot of content, especially now that I'm back in school and I'm seeing what the high school kids are doing. If you like this video, most likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to be dropping one video a week that has to do with like high school geared, and then obviously still chasing my trifecta, which is in October. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys have a great day. You guys know the motto: stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, don't be average. I'll catch you guys next time.